Shabbat Shalom. Shalom. Let's try that again. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. I do that to help myself also. It is really wonderful. We got beautiful weather. This is the first time Cantor and I have been together all summer since the second week, I think. Is that right? Yeah, so it's really wonderful. We have a number of the Danube trip back here. We have 3 or 4 people. Raise your hand if you went on the Danube River Cruise. There we go. Look at that. They're so happy. They're over their jet lag. European time. You're 7 hours ahead. Oh, it's really late for you now, isn't it? It's like 3 in the morning already, or yeah, something like that. But we'll have a chance. We'll talk to that group. Hopefully, we'll have a chance to hear from them in the next couple of weeks or after our holidays. Really have a chance. They had a wonderful trip, and we're so grateful they made it back safely. Let's take a nice deep breath of Shabbat air, breathing in everything we want to hold on to and letting go of everything we don't need anymore. Okay, so Cantor's already gotten a couple of the songs, but I don't think we did Ki Eshmera Shabbat. So let's do our official opening, and then we'll invite Bruce over. It's, page 129. And Ken Kaufman, the great Ken Kaufman, joining us.
Ki Eshmera Shabbat Yishmereini, Ki Eshmera Shabbat Yishmereini, Oti le'omeat Beino uveni, Oti le'omeat Beino uveni. Try with me. Ki Eshmera Shabbat Yishmereini, Ki Eshmera Shabbat Yishmereini, Oti le'omeat Beino uveni, Oti le'omeat Beino uveni. So on our trip throughout Europe, we saw many synagogues. We saw synagogues in the Sephardic tradition, and we saw synagogues coming from the Ashkenazic tradition, and this was just a Sephardic tune. If I safeguard the Sabbath, God will safeguard me. It's a sign forever between God and me, right? And it's very regal, right? It's just all of these Sephardic tunes, Spanish, Portuguese tradition are very stately and regal, right? And then our next piece is going to be in the Ashkenazic tradition, and you're going to hear that big difference between the two traditions, just like the architecture was.
Oh, it's so interesting. So on your journey, there's people that some of the people that settled in those towns came from more Sephardic tradition, and some from Ashkenazi, because when we left Spain, they scattered over there. Let me invite over Bruce Corris, our immediate past president, as our official welcomer. He's been gone too, by the way.
I've been gone as well.
You weren't here, so he left.
That's right. Cantor wasn't here last week, and I said, I'm not going to.
Where'd you go?
I was back in Chautauqua for a couple of days. I had Culture Clash last week in Chautauqua, and then Stooge Fest on Saturday night. And the rabbi has asked me to teach him a little about what I learned at Stooge Fest, so we'll deal with that during the announcements. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to our Shir Shalom Summer Send-Off. Hard to believe. It's our final service under the tent. As the rabbi said, where has the summer gone? A better question is, where has the rabbi gone all summer? But it is. It's the first normal, typical service with the rabbi and the cantor both here. No special thing. Well, actually it is. There's a special thing. We have our cookout. So it's our last special service of the summer. We're back indoors next Friday night. So it's, the end of the summer tradition. This is one of those things that makes our place, our temple, so special. So something to look forward to for next summer. We, as I said, will be indoors starting next week. We have high holidays coming up. We're busy planning for that. And lots of other stuff coming up. I'll be back with the announcements a little bit later. Anyway, Shabbat Shalom.
It's wonderful. Thank you.
That's the last thing he needed.
I can't wait. I think we should put together a little Stooge show. That would be fun. So for... is it a knockout?
No. Now, we have the two Stooges. I'm not counting you as one. We're almost... Todd, get up here. Where's Todd? There we go. Todd, no, never. You come up here now. We do have the three Stooges.
Oh, boy. All right, for candle lighting tonight, page 120, we're going to invite over Maureen Seitz. We had a number of birthdays in our community, but Maureen had hers this week, and she was in the front row, so I'm going to bring her over. Come on over to do the honorary lighting. Outside, we can't have actual candles. Through experience, we've learned they blow out right away, but we do have these electric variety. And let's see, she turned about 21, I think, is that right?
I think for like the third or fourth time.
Okay, we go in cycles. I think I talked about that last week. I think it's the black. And we'll have Cantor lead us in the prayer, page 120.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu le'hadlik ner, le'hadlik ner.
And if you want to lift up the Kiddush cup there, next week I'm determined. Joanne, we're gonna fill that Kiddush cup, I think, as we get ready for high holidays. This will be our last empty one. Kiddush is on page 123.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei b'riat ha'afel. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzah banu, v'shabbat
Joanne, next week we're having wine, preparing for us. Yom Huledet Sameach, to many more trips, healthy and happy around the sun. We are going to turn to L'Chadodi, officially welcome in Shabbat. Shabbat is out there in the field, so what we're going to do on page 138, we'll sing that first verse, and then on the last verse, number 9, we rise. We're going to face Shabbat out there, bow to her, and then welcome each other with our little kingly and queenly waves.
So last Shabbat we had an eerie coincidence. We attended a lovely, beautiful Shabbat service in Prague, our first evening in Prague, and they did all the music we do. And we do all the music they do. Whatever you want to say, I can't tell you, but we were singing with everything. They knew every song that we knew, and we knew every song that they knew. And it was a Reform temple, a little startup Reform temple, and it was really, really wonderful. And they did the Slucha Dodi. And they also did the Baruch Hu that we're going to do in a minute or two. And they also did the Ve'ahavta that we're going to do in a minute or two. And they did the Hula Ranana that we just did like 10 minutes ago. It's just a small Jewish world. The Chadoni in the Ashkenazic melody. Lech Chadoni le'im katala
continue. We remain standing for Baruch Hu, page 146, our call of community. congregation in Prague sing as nicely as this group?
I don't know. We were singing so loud it was hard to tell who was who and what was what. We just filled the room with song.
That's wonderful. Let's turn to page 149. On the bottom there's a reading I talked about in Torah Thoughts, because last week I noticed it says this is an hour of change at the beginning. And I realized that it meant that we have plenty of opportunities to change. It depends on what we consider. You'll notice in the prayer itself, the second paragraph, or the second part of it, it says this is the hour. So you have to decide which hour it is for you. Let's read it together. This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change. And within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai ha'ma'ariv ha'ravim. Page 150, we fill our hearts with love, and that's what allows us to cross over. Ahavat olam. Page 154.
as it is September, we are seeing people, hello Mike Frisch, and a bunch of others that we haven't seen in a long time.
It is really nice. Every Shabbat, it's a different group that comes across. Let's read responsibly at the bottom of 157. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage, Adonai. There is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt, we were delivered at Sinai. We bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again, we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one in peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea. And let's imagine ourselves on the shores of the sea, 158, Michamocha, who is like you.
The setting of Michamocha is a more recent one by Josh Nelson, and it incorporates some of the English. So you'll see on the top line, you'll see some of the English that we'll be using in this modern piece. Same words as the other Michamocha, so I want you singing along too. Michamocha, Bahilim Adonai, Michamocha, et Abakodesh, Nora Tehilot, Osefele. Try with me. Michamocha, Bahilim Adonai, Michamocha, et Abakodesh, Nora Tehilot, Osefele. To the English. Who is like you? Who is like you? Who is like you? Adonai. Who is like you? Who is like you? Who is like you? Adonai. Malechutzecha rahu vanecha bokei hayam lifnei Moshe uMiriam seheli hanu anu ve'yameru Adonai loch le'olam. Who is like you? Adonai. Who is like
first time you did that one, huh?
No,
Not the first one.
no.
We're getting used to
In
it
fact,
then.
the last time Ken was here, we did it together.
We rise for the tefillah, the silent meditation, if you're able, from starting at 164 through 180. Feel free to pray in the Hebrew, English, or just your own private prayers, and find a space around if you need to find that holy space for your own prayers. Page 180. Sorry, 180.
Oh, say shalom, shalom b'Roma. Oh, say shalom aleinu. Ve'achol Yisrael ve'imru. Shalom b'Roma. Shalom aleinu. Ve'achol Yisrael ve'imru. Amen. Ve'achol Yisrael.
May the God of peace bring us peace here. We're going to turn our attention to those in need of healing with our Misha Bera on page 371. What we'll do is we'll go around. If you have people in particular that you're thinking about, just raise your hand and we'll go through the whole congregation. We'll start on this side.
Roberta Friedman and my neighbor, Madeline Scott.
Michael Bernstein.
Iris Lifton and Iris Lifton. Oh, down a second.
Regina Locke. My dad, Joseph Hood. Joel Taylor, Brandon Ryan, Cheryl Rossi, and Daniel Stewart.
R.V. Horowitz.
My brother Joe Malucci, Luke Hayes.
We bring all those names into our hearts as we sing the Mishabera. Again, 371.
Source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. That's those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
A complete healing of body and soul. May the people we sent our prayers out to feel nurtured and loved by us, and may all of us here gain strength through that as well. So Shabbat Shalom again. Shabbat Shalom. Tomorrow we have a bat mitzvah. It's at a very unusual place at Becker Farms. Has anyone been over to Becker Farms? It's really a beautiful place. The person, Peyton Weinstein, I knew her since she was this big. Yeah. And I cannot believe, it's always amazing to me to see them suddenly become a bar bat mitzvah. She loves animals, and so that's where she wanted to have it. And actually her mitzvah project is dedicated to a shelter for dogs. She has such a wonderful heart. And I got to hear her practice for her Torah portion yesterday. And she is reading from a section that is one of my favorite sections, and she gets to read one of my favorite lines in all of Torah. Sedek, Sedek, Tir Dov. Oh, you guys know it, right? This is the ancient, they didn't have bumper stickers or cars. But maybe on their wagons they put it. They might have had, I don't know, they carved it out. So it's, those of you that aren't familiar, what this means, this is a section called Shoftim, which is about the setting up of the whole court system. Sedek, Sedek Tirdof means justice, justice shall you pursue. And I'm going to share with you a new understanding I had this week of it. But before I do, let's talk about justice. We think of justice as being essential to society. We couldn't have this type of gathering if we didn't know that we're going to be safe here. We're so blessed to have our officer here to make sure that we feel comfortable, but to know that the society is working. Nothing works. When justice fails, we can't even have a basic service. And we know that in the world today, there are many places where people cannot gather like this, and it breaks our heart. I know, talking to Cantor and others who came back from the Danube, what I heard the most was how sad it was also to see all of these communities that once had been thriving and suddenly not there. Rich had been saying that Ted Steinberg had taught them beforehand and was showing that there's the good and the bad. The good is there's still Jews there. The bad is this used to be an amazing community, And so they really got to see what it meant when justice isn't there. But it's hard to figure out how to do justice. I'm going to give you 3 different examples of things that came across my plate in the last couple of months where it is extremely confusing. Many of you know I wear a number of hats in addition to being here at Shir Shalom. I'm also part of the Jewish Community Relations Council. I'm the rabbinic consultant. And as part of that role, which is a great honor to serve, we get lots of individualized reports. And while things are pretty good here, there of course are things. Here are 3 examples that came through just in the last couple of months. One was a report of vandalism at the Avas Achim Cemetery. This was a report of things kind of being upset. If you know, this is where the first Lubavitcher Rebbe in America is buried, and it's actually a very famous site across Pine Ridge. Not necessarily in our liberal community, but people visit it from all over, and there had been a report that came through of vandalism, which would have been terrible, and I'll explain more in a second. Another was up in East Aurora, where they have the famous Vidlers. There's a wonderful diner up there, but there is on their menu something which is called like Fiddler on the Roof. It's connected to the Jewish community, and it says 5 and dined. 5 and dined, right? And lastly, someone reported there's a law firm, I don't even know which one. They have a new logo that looks like a swastika. So all these things, that's exactly the response. These are things that make us gasp. Okay, and part of our role at the JCRC is to start investigating. So we go and we find out what actually is going on. So it turns out at the cemetery, and this was actually, it went out through Facebook, all these different, I didn't see it, but a lot of reports of this. It turns out our own Jewish Federation is fixing the cemetery. And it was reported back the wrong way, and they didn't know, and it was just kind of a complete miscommunication. This item on the Jewish menu, this menu at this diner, it's confusing. We approached them. They didn't want to change their menu, but it also is right next to a store that kind of deals with this. It's sort of like right in this gray area. So we approached it and we weren't exactly sure what to do. This new law form, it looks like it, but it isn't it. So we have a question of what to do. All of these cases, it doesn't necessarily mean that the intention is there or that it's clear. Oftentimes with justice, we have that kind of gasp. We want to rush in, but often we just need to find out more. And when we think about this saying, Sedek Tirdof, this is a wonderful recipe. We have all this food going on. A recipe of how to deal with justice. With justice, we think about righteousness, rightness, what to do, the right thing. Twice, 2 parts rightness, 1 part rushing in. 2 parts, and it's important, like I know from my wife, Ashira, she tells me, you can't put these ingredients the wrong way. Sometimes you have to do it in the right order, especially when you're baking. I'm not good at baking. You have to do it in the exact way. I was filling out flour and I didn't do it precisely. Like, no, with baking, you got to do baking the right way. And that's the same thing with justice. With justice, start with the righteousness, the rightness. What is the right thing to do first, twice, then you rush in. And we have learned at the JCRC like kind of a 3-step process. First of all, when there's a report, wherever it is in the world, we need patience. Sablanut. This is the hardest thing. No matter what it is, maybe we need to act quickly, but we still need to act smartly, and we need to figure out what the response is. Secondly, we need to know what our partnerships are. Our chaverot, our chaverim, all of our friends that can help us along the way. Those are the partners that are going to help us to know what to do. On May 14th, we all wanted to respond right away. This happened on Shabbat. We wanted to be out there, but we also knew we had to do it what our partners wanted. what was going on in the community. We weren't going to set up anything. We were determined. We were going to follow the lead of others. And that lead will show us, not just locally, but also nationally. That will help guide us. Lastly, empathy, or what I say, chasedut or chesed, that sense of love and empathy for everyone involved. Because we don't know the situation going on. As we look through the things that I mentioned, we need to see what is the right approach that we can do that involves love, that comes from a place of love. Sometimes we need to have a strong approach. Often what we do is we go behind the scenes. So as we think about justice in this world, and there are so many moments, no matter how great we have it here and can have our services, and how many places in this world that we don't enjoy this, just remember the recipe from the Torah whenever something happens. Tzedek, tzedek. 2 parts right, do the right thing. 1 part rush in. 2 parts do the right thing, 1 part rush in. So next time you want to kind of rush to the scene, just remember what the Torah tells us. Tzedek, tzedek tirdo. So I'm very much looking forward to tomorrow hearing Peyton recite those words, and hopefully she'll have the same reaction you did years from now when we say, what is the bumper sticker of the Jewish community? Tzedek, tzedek tirdo. All right, so we are going to be moving now towards the end of our service. And at the end of our service, actually, we start thinking about what we could do better, not just from here. We gather together as a convening point, but also to give us that strength to go and do that right thing, to do justice in this world. And that is what the Aleinu is about. So let's turn to page 586. As we say to one another, it's not enough just to be here. We need to go out and transform this world for the better. Those of you that are able to rise, please rise. 586.
עלינו לשבח לדור הכל, ולתת גדולה ליוסף ראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הרחסות, ולא שמענו משפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וקור עלינו ככל המונם, אנחנו גויים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Page 591.
ונאמר לה' למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
seated. On that day, we'll all be one. We'll have a sense of oneness that will make us feel our connection and love to one another. We're going to turn to the mourner's Kaddish. This week, there was a loss. I did a funeral. Helen Weiser. She was someone who loved art. She loved art. She was a docent, wonderful family, and she just really loved her. She's right on Forest Lawn near this wonderful statue, and I'm thinking, what a perfect place for her. Yeah, she lived right downtown. We are also thinking about, from this past month, Harold Brody, George Bukowski, Nicholas Caracello, Helene Mesh, Gary Rollison, Irving Slater, and Paul Staley, all who died in the past month. Our thoughts and prayers with their family. On our yard site list from years past, we were remembering Betty Barker, Elizabeth Bell, David Budek, and we have his family over here. What a wonderful person he was. Eugene Chertok, Theodore A. Cohen, Jeanette Gersman, Rose Gersman, William Goldberg, Abe Greenberg, Ron Groth, Pamela Harrisberg, Irving L. Innerfield, William Johnson, Reuben Katz, Reuben Kellick, Robert Klein, that's I believe my wife's father, his yard site's coming up, Louis Culloden, Doris Kushner, Emil D. Laufer, David Margulis, Melvin Martz, Jerry Malucci, Ralph Olshan, Isidore Platt, Louis Paulner, Dr. Max Revo, Muriel H. Robinson, Sarah Rosenblum, Irvin Rosner, Shirley K. Sperling, Shimshon Tushner, thank you, Robert L. Victor, Helen Weil, Lawrence Weiner, Elaine Weiss, and May Weil. If there's other names you'd like to say, please feel free to. I had another loss. My cousin in Israel, Jerry Locke, Dennis Locke, they were brothers. Dennis Locke died.
Linda Berger. Kate Connor. Patricia Carlisle. Roger Marchioni.
All those of you whose custom it is to rise, page 598, the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, Yalmad, Yibrach, Yirtei, Lik Machutei, V'chayachon, V'yonachon, V'chayei, V'chol Beit Yisrael, V'agalau, V'zman Kariv, Yimru, Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah, V'orach, Le'olam, Omei Amaya. Yiparach, Yishtabach, Yipar, Yitraman, Yitnaseh. Yitadar, Yitalev, Yitalal, Shmei Kudusha, B'rechu. Leila min kol berchata v'shirata. Tush bechata v'nechamata. Amiram v'yalma v'yimuramin. Yehei shlamar al-ba'amin shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimuramin. Oseh shalom v'yimuramav. Hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yal kol yoshvei tevel v'yimuru. Amen. May the one who creates harmony and high bring peace to us, to all Israel, to all the world, and we say Amen. You may be seated, Zikronam Livracha. And we're ready for Bruce. I'm a little nervous about this Stooges thing. We'll find out.
I have props. Shabbat Shalom. Mazel tov to Peyton Weinstein and her family on her bat mitzvah tomorrow morning. We want to thank our service greeters, Karen and Howard Weissman. Thank you to Kyle Burt for the tent setup. Thank you to the cantor for the technical setup. Last one. It's the last one of the year. Then we're inside. Special thank you, of course, to Rabbi Alex and Cantor Frank, and special musical guest, Ken Kaufman, doing the Kenny for us tonight. Thank you for giving us a wonderful service tonight. Did you appreciate that one? Okay, I thought you might. At our end of summer barbecue, as I said, this is our Shir Shalom summer send-off. Tomorrow morning, virtual offerings. We have Torah study at 9 via Zoom, the Shabbat morning service, and bat mitzvah of Peyton Weinstein. That will be off-site and then live streamed via Boxcast, Facebook, and YouTube. See the website for the links. Women of Shir Shalom are going to be gathering tomorrow night at 7 at Elaine Kellick's home for Bubby Mises with Havdalah led by Cantor Frank and the story sharing led by Sherry Jo Reich. Sounds like a fun evening. Where is Yonina? There she is. We have something special coming up. A 4-session class being offered by Dr. Yonina Foster called, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Cheshvan HaNefesh. Heshvon. There's no V in here. Heshvan HaNefesh. Okay. All right. This is to prepare you a personal accounting and inventory of the soul before Rosh Hashanah. Sounds very moving. It'll be at 4 Tuesday evenings from 6:15 to 7:15 via Zoom. Yonina is here this evening.
We already had one, so there's just 3 more.
Oh my God, you've missed one already. Your personal accounting is not going to be very accounting. Anyway, Talk to Yanina if you have any questions, or talk to Joanne if you want to still sign up. We are asking for a suggested donation of $36 to the temple. Again, this is our final outdoor service of the year. Next week we'll be in the sanctuary at 7 p.m. Quick note about being back in the building. As of now, our masking policy is masks are encouraged, but not required. And certainly if you're in any of the high-risk groups, we certainly strongly urge you to wear them. And that could change. Please stay tuned as we go through the next couple of months. If things change, we will adapt because we do always put your safety first. One thing to note, we've done some focus groups among temple members about the temple experience, and many of them have said shorter announcements so the rabbi can do longer sermons. Yes! I'm kidding. No one has ever asked for longer sermons. Not even the rabbi has asked for it. Anyway, so we're cutting back on the announcements. There's a blue flyer in your service leaflet. If you maybe not, because we ran out. If it's not there, then you're on your own. If it is there, what? It's part of the. Oh, you're smart. She is smart. It is now part of the service leaflet. Nancy did that? Nancy's smart. Anyway, that's part of the service leaflet, so you'll have it. And of course, the weekly email comes out, and all the stuff is on the website, so you're not going to miss out on anything. If you need anything, by the way, reach out to the rabbi, the cantor, Todd, or myself, or Joanne, especially Joanne. We are here for you. Wait a minute.
Oh no.
I'm so nervous.
So,
Oh my God.
we've got the hammer, and we've got the pliers.
Is that what they actually use?
Oh my God. By the way, the Three Stooges are really prominent Jewish comedians, all three of them. Mo and Curly were originally Moses and Jerome Horowitz. In fact, I got to ask Maury Horowitz if they're related, and I would not be surprised if they are. And Larry Fine was Louis Feinstein. So anyway, so prominent Jewish comedians, which is, I think, really interesting. So anyway, I will not hit you on the head with the mallet. I will not grab your nose with the pliers. But just so you know, I could.
I could use it. I love the one where you go, whoop.
Yeah, and I could have brought a bowling ball and dropped it on you, but I don't have a bowling ball. Anyway, it was fun. We all enjoyed it.
I would have brought an artichoke.
An artichoke.
Yeah, remember when Curly went to feed the baby? Yeah, give the kid an artichoke.
Oh yeah. Anyway, so we're after the service is over, we have our end of summer barbecue. You're going to pick up plates and stuff at that table over there. You're going to get your burgers, dogs, and veggie burgers at that table. One of one as you go through the first time, whether it's a burger or a dog or a veggie burger. One only the first time. Then once everyone has been through, you can get your second. Parents, keep an eye on your kids during this process. Sonia, that means you. Gloria, that means you as well. Anyway, we enjoy doing this for you. It is a summer tradition, and we look forward to coming back with it again next year. Shabbat Shalom, and remember, do not get in line until the service is over, and the cantor says, okay, now you can go get your food.
We'll say the motzi, and that'll be
Yeah.
Bruce, I don't think it's ever short.
You know what?
It's ever short with Bruce.
Todd, believe it or not, the ancient services, the sacrificial services, this is exactly what they smelled like. What do you think? We should bring that back for ILO. Then you wouldn't need a sermon at all. There we go. Okay. We are going to turn to 625, Adon Olam.
Adon Olam, Hashem Alam, B'terem Ko, Yitzir Nivra, Yesh Nasa, Echad Soko, Hazai Melavet Shelo Nikra, V'yacharei, Yiklot Hakol, Levad lo yilok no ra, V'hu haya, V'hu hove, V'hu yiyah, V'tikvara. Everyone, Adon Olam.
peace. May you eat in peace. Please return your prayer books minus the leaflet to our front over there, and Shabbat Shalom.
Oh, that was fun for giving me my stuff.